throw in the glowstone honeycombs right into here, and then once that's used up, we will then have wax and the glowstone. Hello everybody and welcome back to some more All the Mods 9. Yes, we're finally doing it. Productive bees. Oh my goodness, yes. Probably going to be my primary source of resource generation. And that's exactly why I have this little thing on my head. Some of you who don't know what this is might just be wondering, why the heck is this guy wearing a beehive on his head? It's to protect me from bees. So yeah, today's quest line will be the productive bees. I've already dabbled a little bit in the productive bees line, just because, so that way I could get all the smithing templates for my armor, at least the first half of it. I decided to use the sussy bees, which involved a little bit of it. But I have not actually managed to claim those quests due to the simple fact that I did not get a normal bee cage. I don't know how much it costs, so I'll just gather up these many emeralds, just because I do actually have the villager that trades it in my easy villagers right over here, so it should be more than enough to have a stack of it. Oh, and I did only need 1 emerald. Well, that sucks. Okay, well, there we go. We can go ahead and get the normal bee cage, which is not like the sturdy bee cage to where these things are actually only 1 use. But since I can get both the cages from that guy, it's like, it's minuscule. Holy crap, that is a lot of quests being done. Oh, well, we're off to a great start, aren't we? Oh gosh, there's still more. Why is there more? What? Wait, when did I get the book? Yeah, I mean, I don't have the book in here as far as I can tell, but I guess I must have touched it at some point. Okay, well, we got the book. There we go. So then, after that, we can go ahead and just start checking off the checkables, which now opens up all the quests that we're going to need. So in order to start productive bees, we're first going to need to actually obtain bees. And the best way that I know to do that is going to be through nests. I'm pretty sure that's the only way to get them, because I will need to actually lure them. I don't actually have dirt, though. I do have dirt. Why for was dirt not showing up? It's probably because I didn't also have a sword on me, but the question does become, can I use any sword? Okay, I cannot use the Allamodium, but could I use a diamond? I know that the highest tier for this thing does involve a diamond sword, so if I can just use 1 diamond sword for all of them, fascinating, I actually can't. Entirely honest, that's minorly annoying, but seriously? Wait, hang on a minute, no. Dirt was supposed to use a wooden sword. Oh, it was coarse dirt. Oh, wait, so still doesn't work though. Dang it, okay. But would the wood sword work now? Yes, it does. Okay, but it does consume the sword. That's actually pretty interesting. Okay, but now that we've gotten the nest, I'm just going to do this 1 nest because, like I just showed you all, apparently this is going to take a bunch of these swords, so it's going to be very, very difficult. But we're going to need to do all of these nests that I have right up here so that way we can get certain bees. I'm only going to show some of them, but for right now, we're just going to do the dirt nest. So the dirt nest, if I give it a honey treat, we'll be able to summon 1 of these many bees. Wow. That is quite a lot of bees, actually. Oh, wait, no, that's just doing the whole thing. Okay, never mind. So then it looks like it's only this first page that does them. So if I give it a honey treat and give me either an ashy mining bee, a leaf cutter bee, or a chocolate bee. But the real kicker with this is that these things do actually need to be in specific biomes. So if I look into here, does it tell me where this one needs to be? Oh, wait a minute. No, I need to go into the information. Okay, so it needs to be in an overworld biome. Okay, well, since I want this to be in a very specific location, let's actually go ahead and already go to where I'm going to put most of these bees. Let's also go ahead and grab a cage, just because I'll need this for the bees to come, and then we can go ahead and then just head off to my very specific location, which is actually going to be downstairs. Yes, I finally managed to get the repairs done on the 2nd floor of this. For the most part, it still is a little bit of a fixer-upper, but if we come on over to here, in this room, right here of my home, this will be where we do all of our magic. Alrighty, so, well, not really magic, but it's gonna be where I'm gonna do the bee stuff. So let's go ahead and put the dirt nest there. And I forgot my honey treats. Well, that is unfortunate. Honey treats are also very easy to get, mind you, Like, if you can do one of multiple things with varying results, but the best way to do it is you can actually buy it from that same villager. So, how we actually get these things to spawn the bees is, well, technically you could also find them around the overworld, but I don't want to do that, so we're just going to give this thing a honey treat, and there we go. Now, after a short amount of time, yeah, repopulation cooldown is very long, so I need to make sure that I don't get the one bee I don't want. Which guy was that again? Who's the one that I don't want? Ah, yes, the leaf cutter bee. Like, holy crap. Well, actually, given the breeding, he might give me something I do need. He gives me coal bee. That might actually be one of the necessary ones. It's not necessary, but I will definitely need to do that later down the line. Okay. But overall, the leaf cutter is the one that we don't want. Chocolate bee, I think, is actually one of the ones that I'm going to want immediately. Yeah, because it'll give me redstone. And I think it's down the redstone line that I'll be able to get to the diamond bee, which will help me with something else. Ooh, I wish I had a time in a bottle, because that would really help. Is time in a bottle even in this? That's the real question. Okay, it is in this. That's interesting. Actually, that's not that terrible. Because, like, for 3 unobtainium, tier 3 speed augments, those are very cheap, actually. I just need to get a buttload of sugar, which wouldn't be a problem. Bottle of enchanting is also not terrible. And then the speed upgrade, which is actually from this mod, is also incredibly cheap also. Okay, yeah, so I could go ahead and get a time in a bottle. So, yeah, I'll get a time in a bottle. That way we can kind of speed all of this up. I am going to need to chunk load this kind of area over here, which sucks. I wish this whole thing could have been a whole chunk, but we'll come back once we got this bee.
Eventually.
It's the leaf cutter bee. The one bee that I did not want, and I get it. Okay, so what this means is I'm going to need to try again until I get one of the other 2 bees. Oh my goodness, can this guy come from any other nest? Come from the sand or the gravel nest? Can anything else come from those ones that I wouldn't want? Can give me ashy mining or digger. And ashy mining comes from the same. Okay then, so since Sandy is here, ooh! Sandy is the one I want! Because Sandy does not give me the leaf cutter bee, it can only give me one of those 2 guys. Interesting, and it looks like it also doesn't actually have any dependencies other than the thing I did before, so, okay, let's go ahead and get Sandy, see which one of those guys we get. So I guess what I'll do is I'm just gonna go ahead and then collect a few of the bees that I'm gonna need for the demonstrational purposes of the episode, and then after that, I'll just do the ones that I can do off-screen, because, let's be honest, most of these things I'm just going to do in between episodes, so, yep, let's just go ahead and get ourselves some bees.
Much later.
Alrighty, I've collected all of the bees that I'm going to need for right now. So, now that we've gotten all these bees, some of them aren't going to be used like the others are. Some of these guys are exclusively for breeding. So in order for us to get those guys, we need to make this thing right here first, which is called the Upgrade Bay Bee. And I actually need flowers. Do I seriously not have flowers? That is rather unfortunate, actually. Can I just buy those from the market? Because, like, I really don't want to just go hunting those things down. So, like, let's just go ahead, plop you right there. There he goes. He just rises up. Okay, is there flowers? There is flowers. So then let's go ahead and just buy a few of these flowers right here. We're only going to need one of these things because it's used for crafting. So we'll go ahead and take that. Now we got the Upgrade Baby. And now we can go ahead and plop that in the breeding chamber. And now we need another set of flowers, which I actually did see some of these, which was the rose bush. So now we can go ahead, plop that into there, and oh, it's roses and it's a breeding chamber. I get what you did, game. So now that we've also got the breeder, let's go ahead and then make something else that we're gonna need, just so that way we can get it out of the way. I'm gonna need 2 planks, which are not a difficulty, so let's go ahead and put those there. And then we're also going to need to get ourselves a slab, because we need to go ahead and then make this thing called the grindstone. Now, this is vanilla stuff, but we don't want vanilla stuff. We want everything else, which is to get this thing right here called the centrifuge. Now, there is a powered centrifuge. I don't know the difference, but apparently the other one doesn't use power and I don't know how to use it, so we'll just get the powered one just to be safe. So, let's put the breeder right here and then look into there. It looks like it might work similarly to the resourceful bees breeder. So let's go ahead and then find this guy right here, the chocolate mining bee, or no, not mining bee. There was another one that was called the mining bee, and the glowing bee, and there we go. And then I need to put this little cage right here, and now... do I just need to put the flowers in there? I do! Oh, I put it in the hands. That's actually very clever. Okay, then, so... is this working then? No, it is not, because I did not power this. Alrighty, I got myself a flux point, so we can go ahead and throw that guy right there, switch him to the network, and then... yeah, that's already being powered, so that should be good enough. So now it ate it up. Okay, and now it's working. Look at that! You can kind of see just the little the tiny sliver right there of breeding happen. Oh my gosh, in this tiny little box, the bees and the bees is happening. It's not birds and the bees anymore. It's just bees.
Ha! Gay!
Alright, but here we go. The last heart is almost full, so let's see. Is it just gonna go inside of the cage, or is something else gonna happen? Okay, so let's see. It's a child. That's something to note. It's type hive. I don't entirely know what that means yet, because some of them are called types solitary, and the others are type 5. Hive, not 5. I don't know entirely what that means, but hopefully it does not interfere in everything else that I'm gonna need. There we go. Now we got ourselves the redstone bee, and then we can go ahead and then put the powered centrifuge on the other side. That way I don't need to grab another flux point. Haha! I'm abusing my brain. That's what this thing really is. It's just the casing for my big brain because it's so big, and I just don't use it sometimes. Either way, though, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and then start working on the special parts to this. So we can go ahead and put these things right here called the advanced beehives. What these guys do is they're the beehives from this mod, and they allow for upgrades. But we cannot use this yet because the way that this thing will normally work is kind of like with resourceful bees, if you know what that mod is. If you don't know what that mod is, I had a video where I did it in another mod pack. Be sure to check it out after this one. But what they would do is the bees would leave their beehives, and then they would come back over to there with their stuff. But they had to keep leaving the beehives. That is a problem. I don't want that. I want to make it so that way they do not, in fact, leave. And how I'm going to do that is going to be with this thing right here called the Upgrade Simulator. Bees will no longer exit the hive, and a trip to its flower will be instead stimulated. I need to put the required flower and or block on front of the hive for this to work though, but I do have a workaround for that. Because I have multiple bees of different kinds, I'm gonna need multiple flowers in front of one of these things. How am I gonna do that? Well, that is going to be by utilizing this feeding slab. I don't know how many of these things I could fit on one feeding slab at a time, so let's just go ahead and start with these three guys right here. So I'm pretty sure it was over to this way. There it was. The only real problem will be is if these things get like eaten up or something like that. I don't know whether or not they will, so let's just go ahead and put feeding slab right there, and then we can go ahead and plop in. Oh, okay, there's a little slot right here. Okay, so it can only hold 3. That's good to know. And then let's go ahead and throw simulation card right there, right in there. Oh, and then I can just put empty bee cage to pull out or fill bee cages to insert. Ah, that's handy. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that bee right in there, who's a glowstone. Then we want to go ahead and put redstone right into there. And then the last guy was gold. And there we go. Oh yeah, also one thing that we're gonna want to take note of is if these guys have behavior diurnal. What diurnal means, for those of you who don't know, it's the opposite of nocturnal, which means that these guys will only work in the day. And if we look at the top of my map, it is currently night. Oh, and there we go, we got some gold ones and some glowstone. There we go. So now we got those guys into there. Now we can go ahead and just throw in the glowstone honeycombs right into here. And then once that's used up, we will then have wax and the glowstone. Now wax can be used for a variety of things, but for the most part, it looks like it's not really going to be anything of use. but if I ever find a use for it in the future, I definitely will. But the resources that will be produced from all this is going to be pretty sick, and I look forward to being able to find a way to automate this in the future. I just looked into this also, by the way. There is actually a baby incubator, which will actually be what allows me to make the bees grow up. So I'm actually going to need to pull out the bees until I get the redstone one. There we go, we got the redstone one. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I can choose which one I put in, which is fine. But thanks to this, I now know that I can make the redstone bee grow up, which is going to be very nice. But we will save that for later, because now that we've gotten all this stuff on the floor, there is one last thing that we need to make absolutely certain that we get. And to do this, I need to obtain my dragon egg. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to use this guy as a trophy anymore. That's fine, because we need it for a much more important purpose. So let's go ahead and take this thing right back down to the lower floors. Then we can go ahead and throw this guy right onto there. We got a little dragon egg, and it's gonna be very useful, because with this guy, we can go ahead and then place in the draconic bee. What this guy will give us is, if we go into this guy's thing, is it draconic or draconic? Okay, it's draconic. Okay, so if we go ahead and look at him, he will give us his honeycombs, and then those things will drop this dragon dust at a 30% chance. Once we get 9 of those, we will get a dragon chunk. When we get enough of that, oh, that's something else I'll have to look into, but we'll be able to mix it with any kind of egg and then make an active dragon egg. Once we get to that, I will show you all what this baby is for.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I actually managed to get another bee, and even with these guys and all these speed upgrades, this takes so freaking long. And the worst part is if we look in the draconium dust thing, it only has a 30% chance of actually giving us it from the centrifuge. Now, what I'm about to do, it's unique to this because it only works like this for this, but if we look in the mixing from the create mod, I don't know why with create specifically it does this, but for some reason, whenever we use the draconic comb specifically, it boosts its chances. So yeah, I guess what we're just gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get into just a little bit of create. It shouldn't be too much and it shouldn't be too hard, but we should be able to manage it. The first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to make some iron nuggets and some andesite to be able to make this stuff called the andesite alloy. This is very important. So now that we use that, we can use 2 of them to make 8 shafts. Go ahead and then surround that with 8 of the planks, and then we get ourselves this water wheel, which will be a source of rotational force. Then what we're gonna need is we're gonna need to take this oak log right there and place that there, and then see if I have an axe of some kind. I do actually have axes. Yes. Okay, so hopefully I should be able to strip this with that. I can. There we go. And then we can go ahead and then plop some andesite alloy right onto that. And that gets us this andesite casing. I've actually built a house out of this stuff once before, so it's very nice. So then we're going to want to build a basin. And then after that, we're just going to need to make a small cog wheel. I think we may need another one of those because, yeah, it's going to use one of them for that. So, yeah, we're going to need to go ahead. Then after that, we just need to make this whisk, which will take a hammer. Well, that won't be too difficult, so I think I need about 5 of that. I was exactly right. Then we got ourselves our whisk. Then we can combine all that together, and then we get ourselves the mechanical whisker. There we go. That should be good. So then after that, this thing did call for it to be heated, so we're going to need to make ourselves a blaze burner. Ah, yes, here it is, the empty blaze burner, which will take 4 more plates, go figure. So then we can go ahead and grab that, and there we go. Now we got this thing. Now, with all of these components together, we will then be able to make the mixer, which will be heated, which will then be able to break down the honeycombs. However, because this thing is empty, it's not going to work. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go over to Vibranium, because this is closest to where I can find some blazes, and then we're going to do something special. Yes, there's a blaze right over here, so now if my game can stop freezing, Uh-oh. Okay. No. Okay. Yes, I'm unfrozen. So now I capture you. Yes! There we go. By using a blaze burner on blazes, we can go ahead and then capture one of them. And now we can use this. Alrighty, so now to actually set this up, we're gonna want to put the blaze burner, I'll put it underneath it just so that way this doesn't look as terrible. We can go ahead and put that guy there. Then we'll put the basin on top of this guy, and then we'll put the whisk right up there. And look, you can see him a little down there. He's so adorable. Okay, so now to make this thing work, we're gonna need to give it some rotational force. So we'll put that down there. We're going to then have some shafts going down underneath this. If I can get them to go the right way, and then... well, actually, it will only need to be on one side, so it's fine. So then we can go ahead and then just put the water wheel right there, and that should be good. Yeah, and then, oh, wait! Oh! I just hit an oil reserve! Oh, so that works? I don't know why it works, but it works. I'm cool with this. So then we can go ahead and just cover that baby up, and then we can go ahead and put the rest of the shafts up there, and now that starts mixing. So, ooh, it appears this mechanical pixer is not rotating with enough speed. Well, I mean, since this won't be fast enough then with just one water wheel, which was something I was worried about, I can go ahead and just put the hand crank there, and yeah, that should be more than enough speed. So then, I guess let's go ahead, take out the rest of these draconic combs, and then we'll want to throw these boys right into there, and there we go, they rest up in peace like that, and then down there at that blaze burner, we can feed him a coal block, and now for 800 seconds, he is ready. Let's go ahead and just start mixing all this up, and it should work. Okay, there we go, I got the achievement, so it definitely mixed one of them. And, is it ready? It looks like... Oh, that sucks. Even with the 70% chance increase, it still didn't give me it. All three of them, holy crap. Yeah, that's fine. I guess since we did all of this, I can just tell you what these things is gonna be for now. So, you guys remember how I told you that this was going to make the inactive dragon egg? Well, the inactive dragon egg is actually a crafting ingredient for the dragon soul. And the dragon soul is a very special ingredient because this thing is used for the All the Mods star. Yes, even today, after the past few episodes, we're still working towards it. It's all slowly building itself up to it, but soon enough, we will be there. But these things also have another purpose. Not the dragon egg in itself, but the draconic dust. Well, the chunk specifically, because by using two of them, we can actually make this productivity upgrade, which increases the output by 120%. So, once I get one of those, these guys should start to output more. And even though the speed upgrades are, yeah, you know, they're mid, but even with those things, since it's not doing enough, we will eventually be able to make much more of them. So, I guess I'm not just not gonna wait around for this anymore. So I'm going to continue to progress through most of these in between episodes, and I'm gonna use resourceful bees, hopefully as my primary source of resource automation. And the reason why Hey, Future Cookie here again. I messed up this part, so I'm gonna explain it better. The reason why I want to use my productive bees as my resource generation is because the other source of resource generation that you can use, primarily mystical agricultures, is incredibly laggy and not very reliable. So I want to mitigate that to the automation where I did in the last video, keeping it to the normal ones that's only necessary for the All the Mods star. And speaking of that automation, if you want to see me do that, then be sure to check out our last All the Mods 9 video where I made sure to automate all the seed productions to where it was super duper fast so that we could automate Insania. Bye bye!